So the absolute success system is a 6-component system that by the end of it, it'll make so much sense to you. No matter what you want to go after, big or small, if you apply this in any arena, any context of your life, you'll find that you'll be able to really truly achieve any goal that you set out to achieve. Can you get to where you're going if you don't know where it is? Imagine you get in your car this morning and you don't know where, Littleton United Methodist Church is, and you don't have a GPS, you don't have any technology, you just get in your car. You're like, I think I'm going to this place, but I don't know. You just get in your car and you start driving. You have no clue where it is. What's going to happen after a while, after you're in your car for a while? Get lost? Yeah, what else? Get frustrated? Yeah, what else?
End up someplace else.
End up someplace else? Yeah, what else? Maybe get a flat tire? After a while, maybe run out of gas? And can we relate some of these things to our life? Anybody familiar with Walt Disney?
Oh, yeah.
Amazing visionary, right? He created this land where he calls Disneyland and Disney World, where people can go and just experience magic. Walt Disney never actually got to see Disneyland open up. He passed away before the actual opening of it, and one day when it was opening, the grand opening of it, everybody was excited, reporters were sitting all around, and Walt Disney's son was actually there answering all the questions. And so this pompous reporter in the audience, really just arrogant and pompous, asks Walt Disney's son, he says, "Mr. Disney, how does it feel knowing that your son never got to see Disneyland open up?" And so Walt Disney's son just kind of stood there and he thought, and he said, "Well, on the contrary, sir, he was the first to see it." Here's the cool thing with the mind, that the mind doesn't know the difference between something you vividly imagine and something you are actually experiencing. So after we know what we want, we've got to understand why we want it. Why do we want it? Has anybody seen that movie, Pursuit of Happiness, with Will Smith? Isn't that a beautiful movie? He's with his 6-year-old son, and he's trying to sell these overpriced x-ray machines that just aren't selling. His wife ends up leaving him, right? And he becomes homeless, sleeping in subway bathrooms, and all the while carrying this 6-year-old son with him, and your heart is just like, dropping, like, come on, And so he's just, fighting to reach a certain level and help his son get out of the poverty that they were in. Can you imagine what that movie would have been like without the son? Would the movie have even been made? I guess we don't really know, but I would guess no. That because of his son was that deep reason why he kept fighting. Step number 3. This is the most important piece to me and in the work that I do, is aligning our patterns of thinking. I want to share something with you that I'm not proud of. I'm not proud of this, not one bit. I used to sell drugs. Pharmaceutical drugs. In that job, I had to become familiar with something called the placebo effect. Anybody familiar with the placebo effect? Ooh, this is a powerful thing. Now what happens is, in order for a new drug to be approved by the FDA, it has to go through this rigorous testing process. Part of it is called the placebo effect. So what happens is, we literally split up the room in half and say, this room, you take this drug, and it's the actual drug. Take it 1 time a day for a week, come back in a week, let's look at the results. This side, and the doctor doesn't tell the patients, this is this drug, but which is actually a sugar pill, right? Take this drug, take it once a day for a week, come back and we'll look at the results. Did you know that 35% of this side of the room will have the same exact results as the people who take the actual drug? 1 out of every 3. Isn't that amazing? Aren't we powerful? We can take a pill that's sugar, that's not supposed to have any effect on us, and affect our own biochemistry because we believe. Has anybody ever been whitewater rafting?
Yep.
Isn't that fun? Has your river raft guide ever went to the stream, it's kind of pelting and moving fast, and face the boat upstream and say, okay, today we're going to be paddling upstream? Anybody ever have that experience?
Not intentionally.
No?
Not intentionally, yeah.
Not intentionally. Well, consider the idea that if we have thoughts such as I can't do it, or beliefs or conditioning that say I'm not good enough, or I can't have it, or I can't do it, that we are internally swimming upstream in that current. Anybody familiar with Roger Bannister? Oh yeah, Yeah, 4-minute mile guy, right? I mean, this guy astonished everyone in his time in the 1950s. So in 1956, the world record for the mile stood at 4 minutes and 1 second. Roger Bannister questioned it. He said, for 14 years it stood. He said, why hasn't this been broken? He even went and saw doctors. Well, the doctor said that the lung capacity in the human being wasn't expansive enough. He said that the human body wasn't aerodynamic enough. And so they concluded that, hey, it can't be done. But Roger Bannister decided to believe something else. So he began envisioning in his mind, literally creating that vision that we talked about earlier of him crossing the finish line under 4 minutes. So he visualized over and over and over again. And then he went out and practiced over and over and over and over again until one day in May of 1956, he steps up to that line, right? The gun goes off. Anybody else do a better gun sound than that? So the gun goes off and he's lap 1, right? Lap 2, lap 3, lap 4 comes around and he crosses the finish line at 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Astonishing everyone except for who? Himself. Step number 4. So once you have this vision, once you know why, once you've aligned some of your thoughts, what comes next? You got to do something, right? I want to talk a little bit about the difference between inspired action and motivated action. What's inspiration? What does inspiration mean? It's that internal sort of, like, I can't not do this. You know, has anybody ever got like an idea or something inside of you went off and you just took action? It was inspired, it was joyful, it was almost effortless, and you got something done, and it was like, whoa. Has anybody ever had something like that, an experience like that in their lives? Sure, we all have had at least one, right? And so that's the difference between doing something because other people want us to do it and doing something because our heart is telling us to do it. So that's step number 4, take inspired action. Step number 5, when we take action, something's going to happen. What's going to happen?
You've got some kind of feedback.
Yeah, feedback. Anybody fly planes in here ever? Oh, cool. All right. So did you know that a plane leaving Denver going to San Diego in the air is literally off course how often?
Last night it was quite often.
It's literally 98%, 98, 99% of the time it's off course, but it continuously corrects its course until it eventually lands down. It's always looking for the feedback in terms of where it's going, the destination, and where it is. And it's always correcting its course until it touches down. Step number 6, and this is the final step, the final component, is having flexibility. Having flexibility. Thomas Edison was this amazing inventor. And there was this story that in his laboratory creating this light bulb, he was blowing up things, right? Lighting things on fire. His hair is on fire, clothes are on fire. And, finally his son comes in because the family's frustrated. He's like, come on, Dad. Walks into the room and says, Dad, you failed 9,999 times to try to make this light bulb work. When are you going to give up? And Thomas Edison just kind of stood there and said, I haven't failed 9,999 times. I've discovered 9,999 ways not to make a light bulb work. Consider that we start off as this one tiny little sperm cell, right? One tiny little one-celled organism with a tail. And during that 3-day journey, we get millions of us get shot up into this canal, and anybody seen that movie, Look Who's Talking? Isn't that a fun movie? Well, we're in there and we're kind of talking to other sperm cells. No, I'm going to get to the egg. I'm going to get to the egg. We're swimming, making this journey after 3 days, and fighting through the current. Eventually, one out of all those millions and millions and millions and millions of other sperm cells, only one gets to the golden egg. And so at the end of that journey, each and every single one of you was that one sperm cell that got to the egg out of millions and millions of others. Isn't that fun to think about? Yeah. So you got in the egg, you started to multiply yourself, and now you're this brilliant, genius, beautiful human being sitting here right now. What does that presuppose? That you were born a winner.